Hey guys, welcome to the Real Talk Anime Podcast. This is going to be our first episode here. Call it a pilot episode. Don't really know how many people are going to be watching this, but really the podcast is just here for us to have fun and talk about anime because that's what we tend to do. Um, you guys can, I'll be known as Brooke on the podcast here. I'm the dumb looking Leorio face there from a shitty meme. And I guess I'll give a little bit introduction about myself. I'm a university student around the age of 19, 20 years old. I've been watching anime for probably like I don't know since like grade 7. So like I guess like 5 or 6 years or something like that. And I'm pretty much like the most cultured weeb in the group here. So yeah, that's me. I'll pass it off to my co-host here.
Yeah, so I'm Link. I'm also a college student, and pretty much kind of similar. I'm not as cultured as Brooke, but I've definitely been. I'm not going to go too much into my origin story for when it comes to anime, but definitely been watching anime since I was like a little kid. Like it was just one of those things that I always watched on TV and that my parents had on like their pre-recorded VHS tapes and stuff like that. So so I definitely know a lot about anime, and yeah, my profile picture is a profile picture. And and
Yeah, it sure
I don't
is.
think I have much else to say, so I'm gonna pass it on to our last co-host.
Well, those are some nice intros. Hello, everyone. My name's Corbett. Some of you may know me from other places. Hopefully, not the place that you're gonna come here for, but
Mm.
basically, I've been watching anime for a really long time, and so to most of my audience, they like to believe that for some reason they like to believe that I'm not an absolute degenerate weeb. And I would wager that I'm actually secretly the most cultured weeb of everyone here, even more so than Brooke.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
That's my
well here
wager.
Okay.
I can test that by saying that I've literally lived in Japan and like experienced the degenerate culture firsthand. So
But is that
All right, man.
degenerate culture? Is it like cultural enrichment?
am I associating the entire culture of a nation with just being a degenerate culture? I guess so, but we can just move on
Yeah.
from that.
All
Yeah.
right, no, that's pretty good for that then, I guess.
Hmm.
So for now, you might have me beat, but I
So
might
much for
I
not
might
getting
prove
canceled
myself.
episode 1. So
Yeah.
God.
All right. Well, if that's it for introductions, we just want to take this first episode to do a few things. I'll just walk you through really quickly kind of what the plan is, and we'll see where we go from there. Because we don't want to stick too much to like a I guess like a timeline for the episodes, though we do want some sort of consistency so that the people who do listen, like the one guy who's sitting in his mom's basement listening, like will actually know what to expect every time he comes to watch an episode. So first of all, we want to talk about like our goals with the podcast. And I guess I'll start since I'm already talking. So pretty much, I had been wanting to start a podcast for a really long time. Um, for a few reasons. First of all, I just have a lot to say, and I'm sure the the people listening will be able to vouch for that after hearing like more than 2 minutes of this podcast. I just talk a lot, and since anime is like one of the things that I really like and that I'm pretty passionate about, like I guess I could consider it a hobby. Is like I have a lot to say about it, right? And then I had been wanting to start a podcast, and we were sort of just talking with each other, and we were like, yeah, like it'd be pretty cool to just have the conversations that we usually have about anime, since we already all have these conversations, and just kind of like make them a bit more, I guess, like formal in a way,
more
and then just
organized, more
yeah, more organized. That's what I meant.
just
Mm-hmm.
out there, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. Um, did you guys have any other goals with this, or
Yeah,
Brooke, you
just
wanna?
what was that?
I was just wondering if you wanted to go ahead and what do you want to do for the podcast?
Oh, basically, yeah, because like we have these discussions a lot, but sometimes they're just kind of they're more of like a fleeting moment of some random shitstorm going on in a crowded Discord call, and people are harassing us like, "Oh my god, why are you guys talking about anime? Leave right now!" And then like we'll be like, "No, no, it's okay. We'll stop, right?" Or like we'll watch like one episode of something and be like, "Oh my god, that was really cool," and we'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, the animation was sick." and then we'll just be like, all right, well, I gotta go I gotta do homework or something. We'll be yeah, you're right. And so like they never really like flesh out or like expand themselves, you know. So just like come here if you just want to hear people talk about anime, but more in depth than you usually hear, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You're just having a conversation with your buddies, but your buddies
Yeah,
are they're
and
just three
Corbett,
people.
I'm gonna let you say your thing right after this, but like, I just want to let everyone who's listening know that there is so many spoiler warnings, and I'll try to like make an effort to like remember to say, oh, spoiler warning or whatever, right? But like, if you're listening to this podcast, then be aware that you'll probably get spoiled for whatever shows we decide to talk
There
about.
will be spoilers, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
so and we're going to be talking about seasonals and old shows and all sorts of things, right? Sometimes it won't even be about shows, but just about the culture, right? The culture, quote unquote.
The
The
but
degenerate
but
culture of an entire nation of people.
men
yeah,
of
like
culture.
yeah, exactly. We are men of culture. But yeah, Corbett, sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
What plans did you have for this?
Well, I'm just sort of vibing the whole time. I mean, I agree with Brooke, just trying to talk more in depth about the ideas and what you think is gonna happen in the anime, or like, character development, stuff like that. But I
Hmm.
mean, I'm just here to talk about anime with the boys. What else could you really want?
Yeah, of course. That's
That's
like
true. And if you
the
want to talk
whole thing
anime with the
gravitates.
boys too, even if you're not a boy, that's okay. Just come and listen in, and
Yeah, and
you
if you
can.
want to talk with the boys outside of the podcast, shameless plug here, you can go follow our social media. The accounts are like really just like freshly made, they're just ripe off the tree, right? So that was a shitty analogy,
Okay.
but you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter for now. Instagram is just at Real Talk Anime, just those words, no underscores or anything like that. But then on Twitter, that tag was taken, so it's at real underscore anime, or sorry, at real underscore talk underscore anime. I think it will still show up if you just search Real Talk Anime, but I'm not 100% sure because we literally only have one follower right now, and it's Corbett.
Literally.
So, so yeah, and then the only other thing that we wanted to bring up before we got into the meat of this pilot episode, which we'll talk about in a bit, is just a bit more information about this podcast. So I'll say one thing, and that's that for now we're thinking about doing bi-weekly episodes.
Hmm.
Since we're students, we get a bit busy, and then Corbett has other things that he works on.
A lot of
I don't know if
things.
yeah, a lot of things. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but but like but yeah, basically we're pretty busy even with a pandemic and online school. We thought we would be a bit more free, but it's pretty busy. So we're thinking bi-weekly. That being said, if we're able to juggle this well with all of our other activities and commitments, then we are 100% down to change it to weekly episodes like a lot of the bigger podcasts. um
Yeah,
that's just one thing.
like once we figure out what
And
we're doing with the format and with the editing and all that, and we sort of get into the flow of things, like I feel like the flow is gonna it's gonna widen. We're gonna start making more episodes. We're just gonna be pumping them out, you know.
Mm-hmm. Once you get comfortable
Like
with everything, then it's way easier.
yeah, so like probably once a week at some
yeah,
point in the future
and
is the
then
ideal, but
right, for sure. And then the other thing, I think this is the last thing, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but where is this podcast going to be available? So if you're listening to this, you're obviously listening to it from one of the places where it's available, but our main platform is going to be YouTube. And as of recording, um, we haven't exactly decided how we're going to do the like design for sort of like the dashboard that you're going to be viewing, because we don't want to just make it like a black screen or just like literally just like Comic Sans text saying Real Talk Anime or something like that, just like the whole time, like a static frame. We'd rather make it a bit more like, even if it's like mostly static, at least a bit more like dynamic, where like things are moving on the screen. So YouTube is our main platform, and it's going to be a video format, but then we're also planning to put this up on as many other like podcast platforms as we can. Some names including like Spotify, iTunes, as well as Google Podcasts, but we're not 100% sure exactly where we're going to put it and where we're going to be able to put it at all. So that's just something, a forewarning, that we want to put out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So are we ready to move on onto the rest, or is there anything else for the intro?
I think that
I've
was good.
Yeah, I've got nothing left to say. So might as well get
Alright.
started with the seasonal anime talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had a lot last season here. Oh boy, we haven't all watched the same ones though. I think, but I think
No,
one
no,
we've
no, we
all
haven't.
watched together is God of High School. I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy, God of High
God
School.
of High School. Basically,
Um,
it's just like tournament arc the anime,
Yeah, literally
yeah.
tournament arc the anime. And
and
honestly,
weird plot lines as well, and characters are real interesting, especially
I,
some of the testers. But
Yeah.
like I know we've also all seen ReZero, and at the beginning of the season, I thought God of High School was really good, right? But I thought that
Mhm.
ReZero was definitely going to be the number one anime of the season for me, like no questions asked. But the more I've been watching this show, and the more we get to learn about the characters, and like the more like we consistently keep getting shown these insane action setups and action scenes and all that stuff. I think that God of High School is definitely a contender for like number one anime of the season for me, which is something that I didn't really think was that controversial of opinion. But apparently, a lot of people are not a huge fan of what they're doing with the plot and like the pacing of the show. I don't know what you guys think about that, but
Well, you know what? I agree with you for the most part. I definitely think that it's like a contender. Like it's definitely like you, it could be like in the finals if you were to like elect the number one show of the summer 2020 season. But like I don't know. I don't know if it's just because I'm biased because I loved ReZero so much. Um, like ReZero right now is like kind of like slow in the sense where things are not they're setting up for something, and every episode they kind of give you more information, but like spoiler warning, guys. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of spoilers, like I said. So from here on out, don't expect a warning. But like he's pretty much stuck at the same checkpoint,
He's been
and
doing
yep,
things over and over again for like
right, and
five
every time it's like
episodes.
drastically different, right?
Yeah.
Like in the first season, like it was like every time he died, it was a very, very different death, as far as I remember. Maybe there was like a few
yeah,
exceptions to that rule, but like it was so different. Like every time it was so unique, and like he discovered something completely different, and you'd be wondering like which line is the correct one. Whereas now it's kind of like he's repeating the same stuff.
Well,
like
I find the deaths are a little bit different, right?
like
Because
they're
like
definitely
Okay, yeah, yeah,
unique, but it's hard to grasp what he's really getting out of each cycle. Is sort of
yeah,
how I'm feeling about it, you know?
you have to really like read into it to see exactly what he's getting every single time he dies.
it seems like a lot of it is like when you're saying what he's getting, like in first season, a lot of it was what we're getting as well. Like when we say what he's getting, we meant what we're getting in terms of plot development and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this season is a lot about what he's getting as character development.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff with the Friends episode where he became like best friends with with the carriage driver,
With
Yeah,
Odo.
and
With Otto.
and yeah, Otto or whatever, and then like kind of that whole thing with his parents and the trial, and also just further development in his relationships with characters like Amelia, Echidna, people like that. Um, and so I guess like the main character himself, Subaru, is getting a lot of attention and a lot of like gain in terms of character, but in terms of plot development, every time we see something new, and then we know that it's all going to become relevant. Like we know that it will, but right now it seems random. Like for example, I'll give you an example. The bunny, right? The bunny,
Mhm.
like one of the three major beasts or whatever. Um, that seemed like literally so random. When the
Apparently it was
white
important
whale,
though.
yeah,
Yeah.
obviously it's going to be important. But when the white whale became a thing in the first season, like that was a big deal, and it became a major plot point, and everything after that was related to him, right? Until obviously they killed him, and
Yep.
he like beat that part of the show. That was like one of the major arcs, basically. But like now it's
Mm-hmm.
like we see the bunny, and then on top of that we find out that he's literally one of like the three most like OP creatures in this universe.
Kind of
And
underwhelming, but yeah.
yeah, and like literally like now he's just gone. Obviously we're expecting to see him again, but like things were moving much slower. Whereas last time it was episode to episode, a lot of shit was happening.
Well, do we know if ReZero is going to continue into the next season? Because it feels like it really has to, in terms of like where the story is.
I think it's taking a pause for a season and then continuing again.
Okay, because
Okay.
it really I don't really like I can't see like what how Subaru as a character is better equipped to tackle the issues facing him like this cycle versus like 2 or 3 cycles ago.
Right.
I mean, what he
Yeah.
did get, well, like he got information about how he's supposed to kill the bunnies,
Yeah,
from like
that's
the
true.
creator herself,
That is
right?
true.
The witch
Yeah.
of what was she? Wasn't Greed? Obviously, that's Echidna, but I'm not. I don't remember. Witch of Envy, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't
I
exactly
forget who
remember,
it was,
but
but someone told him. It
yeah.
was one of the witches.
Mm-hmm. So like, there's that, and then there's also like, I don't know. I mean, every time he dies, he does get a little bit of something.
Yeah, like there's a lot
Yeah.
more learning about the world too, because we're learning more about the witches, and like obviously we had the grand introduction to to like most of the witches in that tea party scene there. We're learning more
Mhm.
about like the forces in the world, like those three great creatures of Gluttony or whatever it was,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
you're learning a little bit more about like Roswell and
Right. I
Betty.
was gonna say like definitely a lot of suspense being built. Right.
Oh yeah,
Like
Like
Roswell's
there's
character's
puzzle
been.
pieces being placed
Mhm.
all over the place, but
yeah, and the reason that like I'm not mad about the season or anything like that is because it's still interesting and you're seeing things come together very very slowly, but it's like this build up phase that's kind of just we're
yeah,
waiting,
like episode
and
by
so
Just
episode,
waiting a long
you
time.
don't
Yeah.
feel like you get too much out of it,
right. It's
especially
like
when you're watching it like on a week by week basis.
yeah, I think that's probably actually the biggest thing. Like I think that's definitely one of the biggest things because when I watched ReZero for the first time, it was already out. Right. I just binged it.
Yeah, me too.
And I did the same thing with the director's cut, like leading up to the release of the second season. And
Mhm.
so I had obviously very high expectations, and it was all very continuous. Whereas now it's like you said, it's literally each episode is a puzzle piece, and they're all coming together. But we're just waiting for where like everything converges, you know?
Hmm.
I mean, like he dies
Um,
every single episode these days.
yeah,
Last season, I don't think it was quite like that.
and it also feels like this maybe I don't know if this is a big deal, but like it kind of feels like the deaths are more meaningless now, and I think that's intentional because he's made it clear that he's going to use this death power to like actually do what he needs to do and make sure everyone's safe and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like right now, every time he dies, like in first season when he died, especially when he got a new checkpoint, I was always like, oh my god, like wow, like that's crazy, he died, right? No, this run was so good, right? It's like a
Yeah.
roguelike game.
Yeah.
But then
Mhm.
but then now it's like, oh, he died. Okay, he's just gonna appear next to Amelia in the trial
Yeah,
again
he's just
for
back
the
into the
7th
trial
time.
with Amelia.
Yeah, for the 7th time, and I wonder who's
Yeah,
gonna be
and
crying this time.
it feels like we're just back. Like all of this could have been. They could have put more into each cycle. Like
Yeah.
we didn't really.
Well, if you remember one of the newest ones, though, when he woke up after death, Amelia
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
there.
and
And there
Amelia
was
wasn't
there was
there.
the
that one was actually
and the
more
witch was
intriguing. I
there.
was
Yeah.
more
So
excited for the
what
next
are the
week.
rules here? They're not.
Yeah, I
like,
don't know if there are rules.
It
in
was
this case.
it was interesting, but like theoretically, it shouldn't have been a different course of events that happened.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know
true.
how it
That's
happened.
true.
I have no idea
Yeah.
what went
Yeah.
on there, but
Yeah, so all I'm hoping for ReZero, because I still think that it has like top tier like potential, like in terms of the whole series, because this season is like low key a bit underwhelming.
Yeah. Well, it's the
But only
COVID
a bit.
season. It's the COVID season.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
I'm expecting from ReZero, like my hopes for ReZero, are basically just that everything ends up making sense, or at least the main puzzle pieces all come together and it all makes sense in the end. Because I'm not reading I think it's a light novel, right? I'm not reading that.
Yeah.
And I don't plan on it because I just really like watching it. And it's just like it would just be so disappointing if it's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna retcon the death where he spawned and things happen differently right away.
hmm
And this like I just figured that death was an exception because he had just spoken with all the witches and spent a lot of time in that like
Hmm.
tea party or whatever. So I don't know how it all works,
Yeah,
right? Like we
okay.
don't know, but yeah, again, as long as they don't screw that up, I think I won't be disappointed with ReZero.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny that we just spent like 10 minutes talking about ReZero when the first thing we brought up was God of High School.
I mean, I kind of have I have a little bit more to say about ReZero in terms of
Oh,
like
yeah, go ahead, man,
like
yeah.
of a kid. Like I think it's really funny how like
Echidna's best girl now.
yeah, like everybody like the entire meme of the first season was that Rem was best girl and fuck Amelia, am I right? And now literally like not even like 2 episodes into ReZero season 2, everyone's like friendship ended with Rem.
Now Echidna's best waifu.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
Echidna's the best wife.
No, dude, like you guys already know this, but I've always been Team Amelia, all right?
Yeah, heresy.
And I always get shit for that. But anyway, I've always been Team Amelia. Please don't kill me. but I will defend that to death. And
Yeah,
and
you're gonna die because
yeah,
nobody
I
agrees
will
with
defend
you.
it to death, but please don't kill me. And like even I now I'm like, you know what? Like finally, me and my haters can come together for this one person. It's like like it's like all the war that had taken place in the last however many years. I think ReZero is like 2015. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I think
Like
so.
it's just like it just it's gone. Conflict resolved, and now there's Echidna,
Yeah,
And Echidna is just
and
praised as best girl
yeah,
now.
and I'm just happy. I'm happy with that.
I mean, I hope Rem comes back in the next season.
Oh
But
yeah, me too.
oh yeah.
Me too.
Rem just taking a hiatus for this one.
I'm happy.
She's literally like in a coma.
Yeah,
But I have to say though that I'm happy that like Ram got a bit more screen time. Like
yeah.
like because like the meme was that Amelia was supposed to be like obviously really good, and then Ram was outshined her, and then on top of that, Ram was literally like bottom of the barrel below all of them because literally nobody cares about her.
No one cared about Ram, yeah.
But then now it's kind of like it's kind of good, and then I like the fact that I like the fact that Garfield like has a crush on her, and it's just kind of like a really really small like detail that they added in that doesn't really mean anything as far as we know.
I mean, she memes on him for it. I remember
Yeah,
one
but I
specific
like
time.
Yeah.
it really doesn't carry much weight because he literally kills her. So
Well, actually,
That's fair.
Garfield's also a cool character though. Like he's very confusing though.
He's like a
'cause-
gangster character.
Yeah, like-
the
yeah.
way he rolls his R's makes me like reminds me of gangster characters.
Yeah, literally, like Yakuza.
Yeah.
I just like that. Well, I don't want to say I like the confusion, but like I like that Subaru is just as confused about Garfield as we are because we're like, what the fuck is going on? Every death is different, or well, what we said earlier, and
Mm.
like all this other stuff, and it's kind of just confusing. It's slow, whatever. And then Garfield is just a wild card in every single life. It's like he dies, we're confused about what the heck just happened. He's confused about what the just happened. Garfield pulls up and he's his best friend, and he's like, okay, nice. Now I know that I can trust Garfield in the next life. And the next life comes, and he's like, I'm literally gonna kill you. I hate you. And then it's like, what the heck is going on, man? And then the episode ends.
And then
Before the episode ends, Otto comes in and he's like, I'm your best friend. And then all of a sudden the episode ends. And then it's like, yeah, okay, man.
bro,
See you
don't
next
even
week.
don't even get me started on the episode, but Otto was his best friend. Like you spend the entire episode and like Subaru's in like a dungeon somewhere, and you're like, oh damn, this is actually like
just like, what's up?
like
Yeah,
nothing.
that was a weird episode.
Yeah, and then Otto just comes in. And he's like, dude, I'm your friend, and it just kind of feels out of place because it's like, isn't that kind of obvious? Like, I guess like nobody's explicitly stated that Subaru has now gained the ability to have friends, but
But
like, I felt like
friends now.
you got like really blue balled that episode. Like nothing, like you usually like there's a climax or something.
That's true, yeah.
Like even yeah, and at the end of like the most recent episode too, because the episode is called something about I've been to hell or something like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've
And
seen
you're like,
Hell,
something-
that's the one.
I've seen hell, and like something's crazy is gonna happen, right?
Uh-huh.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Literally,
true.
yeah, and then the entire reason it's called
The
that
last
is
line.
because Subaru just said that to Garfield.
Yeah,
Or
that's it.
Garfield, Garfield.
Yeah, and like Garfield also, his reaction at the end there, it was the end of the episode, so I don't want to like judge it yet because it's gonna get continued next time. But like, it was really just like if I was a really angry like gangster guy, and I was very unpredictable, and I was like really aggressive as well. I definitely wouldn't just be like, in shock when like this like loser guy in a tracksuit
We're
that
just like,
has
yeah,
been
I've seen Hell.
that literally smells like the scum of the planet, literally the most evil person in the entire universe. Like I would just be like, oh, okay, like I don't remember if he actually let him leave at the end or if it just ended there, because I know that he was trying to
Yeah.
leave and then Garfield stopped him, right? Do you guys remember if he
No,
let him go?
I don't
I don't
remember.
remember. I mean,
Oh,
it
but
feels
either
like
way, he was like
Garfield-
shocked.
Garfield always knows where he is when he leaves. Has anyone
Yeah,
else
but,
noticed
like,
that?
Oh yeah, what the heck? You're actually
Yeah,
right.
he always knows when Subaru's leaving, even when it's early in the morning and he's trying to get by without
yeah.
being noticed. He's always up and he's always just like waiting for him.
Garfield can just smell that dude. He
Yeah,
just
literally,
knows.
he can smell him from a mile
And what's
away.
with the crystals? Do we know what those crystals actually are yet?
Yeah, there was a crystal that opened the door, and you had like,
The,
you know
yeah,
that
the
like
pink-haired lolly.
like
was
the
yeah,
lolly
the
pink-haired-
girl.
yeah, that one. and they're just like
Wait, but
copies of her all over the place now.
like the necklaces, right? Like the crystals on the necklaces.
Yeah, that's what you use to open the door for that. Like
Yeah.
there's
But
a
why do they
chamber
blow
in there.
up? Why do they blow
Yeah,
up
they
randomly?
didn't really make that very clear about like what
I
the
don't know, man.
like the
I feel like
explicit
because I feel like
importance
we know, but I just couldn't piece it together myself. Maybe I'm just
There's
stupid.
probably
It's
some
very
clues
possible.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else about ReZero that you guys want to say?
Yeah, no, not really.
No, I'm good
Okay,
now.
cool. Maybe we should go back to God of High School now
Yeah,
because
yeah, we literally.
for a show that we felt like outshined ReZero, we sure fucking
Oh,
didn't talk about
yeah.
it. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about God of High School then. So okay, for the people listening, guys, we did like kind of like a pre pilot episode where we just were basically testing our setups, and it was a while ago because we got delayed by a bunch of things that happened in life, and it's been quite a while since then. But but we basically talked about God of High School the entire time, and back then I think it was episode 4 had just come out, and that was the wedding episode, and the first 3 episodes were like the animation was good in all of them, and the first 3 episodes were like all right. But like that plus the wedding episode, it just didn't seem convincing. And I remember we were like kind of shitting on the show.
Yeah, they
We were-
really
a little
shit the
bit.
bed with the wedding episode. But
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
still
that's
yeah.
a commonly held opinion as far as I'm aware. Like
100%.
nobody really cared about the wedding episode, and it
I
honestly
mean, it
literally
didn't
just
hold
felt like
much weight,
filler.
to be honest. Like it held almost no weight. You know what it did exist for? For her sword to get taken. That's what it was for. That's why it
Yep.
existed, as far as I'm aware of.
and I think also just for us to know a bit more about her because she was just some random girl who had a sword.
That's true. Yeah, a bit of
Yeah.
character development, backstory stuff.
But we were talking about how we felt like it was shallow, and I still believe that. I think that episode was really bad, and you know, like there was a bunch of stuff we were complaining about. But like I honestly, I my opinion still stands for that episode. But for the show as a whole, I definitely was wrong, and I think we all agree with that because God of High School, especially after Tower of God, it being only I think the second, basically like the second like show of this series of like
Korean manhwa
Korean
adaptations.
yeah
manhwa.
Korean manhwa adaptations,
Adaptations,
especially partnered with Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I was expecting something on the level of Tower of God, which I felt like was mediocre. But anyway, that's a different story. And it definitely surpassed those expectations. And I know Brooke has some very like strong opinions about it. So I'll let you do that.
Oh yeah, like I just like it's been a long time since we've gotten something this consistently impressive in terms of the animation, and that's a really big bonus for me. Like something like One Punch Man, you could always sit down and you wouldn't always just enjoy it for the comedy or the like the drama or whatever, but like you'd
Yeah.
always come because you'd know you're getting some high quality just like anime, you know, and that was the
Amazing
biggest
animation,
problem
yeah.
with the second season that literally almost nobody watched is because like it's just not
Yeah.
One Punch Man because it's not that high octane, insanely animated, like really like top tier show, right? But that's
It's
what
just action, right?
yeah,
Like,
that's
you
what I
need the
feel.
action.
That's what I feel like I'm getting with God of High School. Is every time you're getting like a high quality piece of anime. Like even though like the story is like sometimes it's confusing to follow and the pacing is really fast and you'll have random garbage like the freaking wedding episode, but that's like the only thing I thought was bad. Yeah, it's just good, man.
I'm also a little confused on it. Like, so watching the animations for the fight scenes, obviously they're amazing. Like the choreography is great, but I'm wondering if they're like with the special powers other than like the chariok or however it's
Yeah,
pronounced.
yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
I'm not sure if they're trying to go like the Demon Slayer route where the visuals are just like a representation of like
That's a
their
that's a good
attacks, or
question.
if they're like actually
Like
like using
Naruto,
like
they're actually
Naruto
there.
actually using things like the dragon kicks. I was like, okay, is he actually sending blue dragons out of his feet, or like is
Yeah.
he just doing really good
Like
taekwondo?
you'd think that okay, like the Charyuks or whatever, like that's like that's a godly power, right? So like he has to awaken that power, right? But
Mhm.
what kind of high school student just inherently has the ability to send Hadoken waves out of his palm? And he's like a karate master or something like that. Like karate does not teach you how
Like
to do
Dewi?
that. Yeah, Dewi.
Oh, is he karate or
Yeah, I thought he was karate, wasn't he?
he might be karate. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But yeah, like
I was
it's-
not keeping track of
the
that.
ability to, yeah, like some
Yeah.
of the abilities, and then especially with like the with like being able to use your hands as swords.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
Yeah.
works.
But like obviously I'm not like I'm not letting that, like, literally that has 0%
Yeah, the thing is
like
about the
factor
show. Yeah,
in my enjoyment of the show, because that's
Oh
not what
yeah,
the show's about.
obviously, but
it's
I just wanted to know like what
Yeah,
what are
of
they
course.
going
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that?
yeah. The show is just like it basically distracts you from those like realism elements of it by just being just like being that crazy. Like
Yeah.
you'll have three fight scenes going on at the same time, and they're all just like really well choreographed. They're like important to what's going on. There's like character development going on throughout them, and they're just really well done. And there's
And yeah, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and there's three of them at the same time, and somehow they managed to make it make sense. And
And I think they do a really good job with some of the characters. I mean, not all the characters are great, but I think that well, first of all, the main characters are overall pretty good, but then the like what are they called? Like the proctors or whatever, like the staff
mhm.
basically that
Mm-hmm.
work with Park Mujin. Like
Mm-hmm.
those guys are actually really sick. Like they're cuz they're obviously really strong, but like they don't often have to show that because they're sort of just like those guys, you know? There's always those guys in like those shonen and action shows where like they never really
Oh
have to
yeah,
show their power that
But
often,
like you know
but
they're strong.
you know they're strong.
Yeah.
And some of them have been in multiple fight scenes at this point. Like the green-haired guy is really cool, right? Like
like
and
Joker.
and like yeah, sorry, what did you say?
Like he has his Joker
Yeah.
stand or
Yeah.
whatever you call
It's like a
Choryuks.
stand.
And then there's like the butler person as well, right?
Yeah,
And that
Mhm.
person's also pretty sick. Like there was that fight scene that was going on, like you said, with like literally like two other fights.
yeah, and then like yeah, like the butler person, and like they summon like this fire dragon that wrapped
Yeah,
around the
like what the
entire
hell?
building.
And
Like
they were fighting in like some random apartment building, like, or I guess it was more than just an apartment building. It was like a really nice penthouse, but
yeah,
still, like that was insane. Like I was like, what the heck is going on? And like you said, the whole time you're wondering why is this happening? Who are these people? Like why? What is this? And it's the same. It's like the same questions that we're asking with ReZero, and I think that those questions in themselves, even though it's unsettling to not know everything, are not necessarily bad things. But like when you actually get distracted from those questions, at least temporarily, because there's so much shit going on right in front of you and it's
yeah,
so beautiful, it's like it doesn't even matter. Like
and
I
also
want to know the answers, but
like
if you just showed me like 10 more hours of fighting, I'd probably watch it.
I'm here for the
and
ride, so I mean,
people they
Yeah.
tend to complain about the way that the story is progressing. They're like, oh, it's going too fast. Like you don't really know what's going on, but things are happening at a pace that like they give you like the bare basics. Like you know you figure out what you need to know, but they're always progressing. Like it always feels like
Yeah.
we're moving somewhere, and you're getting important plot deals, important character development, cool action. All of that happens every single episode. Like there's no filler. There's no like One Piece. Like we're gonna be in the same and it's the same action sequence, but it's really just still frames for like 3 episodes, and you're not gonna get anything out of it.
like
No,
Dragon
like
Ball, 3 episodes for like a charge up attack and stuff.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
they were just like, no, fuck that. We're just gonna do it.
Yeah, and
it's gonna happen.
honestly, like I have a bias, I think, to like fast-paced shows.
I'd,
It's very rare that I complain about a show being too fast-paced. And I mean, obviously if there's a show that's literally like the first episode like and the second episode's over, like obviously that's a problem, but I mean shows like God of High School I don't think are going too fast and stuff like that. I think it's especially because I used to watch a lot of shonen that are literally like 800 episodes and stuff like that. But like
yeah,
I'm used to like really slow moving shows, and like each fight is 5 episodes, and then there's 3 fillers in between, and then there's actually a whole filler arc, which is a whole season of filler that you don't really care about. And then, oh my god, like fast paced shows for me are a good thing. I get maybe not everyone would like that, but I don't think that the pacing of a show, if it's not extreme, like in one way or in one direction or the other, is like really like that big of a deal in my opinion. I don't know. That's just me.
and like
Yeah, I
there's
didn't
things
have a
that
problem
stand
with it,
out
so.
about each episode.
Yeah, yeah,
Like for example, like they take it they bring up the pace, but they really like they linger on the things that matter the most. Like they give an entire episode about the conclusion of Dewey's character arc, about his friend with cancer, whatever he was dealing with, and like
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
honestly, like you really like they built up to it. Like you were aware of his friend and his circumstances and how he was involved with the God of High School tournament, but
yep.
you didn't really learn about how Dewey feels about it and any of that
And
stuff.
why? Yeah.
until just one episode, and they do that arc in that one episode so well because they set up like, okay, this is why he's fighting for it, like it's a serious reason, like you care for Dewi, like they get that moment where the flashback with him and his friend in the past, you're like, oh, like I really care
Mhm.
about this guy, I want him to win, but at the same time you also like his friend, and so when they fight together, like you feel like there's real stakes on the line, and and it's really cool to watch, and so like it's just engaging, and then you
And
find out his friend literally died, and
rip.
and like now Dewey's having this whole character transformation where he's like, okay,
Yeah.
I have to learn to fight for myself now and not for
Well,
anybody
his
else.
friend was like, "Fight for yourself now." His friend was like, "Keep going. Like even though I'm gonna be dead, like just keep going, keep fighting."
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really liked. I think the reason that I liked that episode a lot more than the wedding episode was definitely because in the wedding episode there was literally nothing else going on.
Yeah.
We were forced to bear a whole 24 minutes or whatever of like people in wedding dresses and suits and stuff. It was kind of cringe, not gonna lie. The characters were really confused and it was just kind of weird. The
It felt
Daily
out of
episode,
place.
yeah, it felt really out of place. The Daily episode was so action packed because while even though they gave him the whole episode and it was all about him, there were still a lot of fights going on, and they were in the arena, and I'm pretty sure he pulled up right at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he he fought now with his new, his character had resolved itself in a way. Now he's fighting for himself, and we get to see that. Whereas like I think there were some action scenes in that wedding episode, but I don't recall exactly. But like I don't remember it being very exciting either. Like it's like we're saying that this show can really hide maybe some like not so good things by having so much action, but in that episode I really don't remember much action, and I was just looking at this like this plain wedding episode that was like cheap character development, just completely bare, and it was just bad. Oh my goodness. But everything else, 100%.
Everything else is
else
good.
Yeah,
is so
it's
good.
not a surprise that the one episode where nothing was happening was the one episode where people didn't like it.
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
and then whatever happened, I guess, wasn't really related to what people cared about, which was just the tournament. Like, as long as you have the tournament, it really just pulls everything together.
Mm-hmm.
It feels
Yeah.
feels
And
like it
I
matters.
also really like that we're learning more about, his grandfather. Because, first of all, I'm a huge Naruto fan, and his grandfather reminds me of Jiraiya. That's the first thing.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
But also, I just like that they introduced this other character. I forget his name, but the guy who's the key, that we found out in the last episode.
Oh yeah, absolute
that
mad
Jin
lad.
that Jin Mori's fighting. Yeah, and like that, I really like that guy's character. Like, I don't know like he's kind of like a nice guy, but he also is really serious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just really like that dynamic, and then the fact that Jin Mori is like a crazy fighting crackhead guy, and
yeah.
but like he also can get serious too. They're kind of like similar characters in a way, but
They
obviously we don't know too
Like
much.
their interactions feel like childhood rivals in a way. kind of.
Yeah, like it
Mhm.
kind of feels like those interactions that I feel like they would have had if they actually spent time together as children.
Like the friendly kind, like the new generation Pokemon kind of like.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
doesn't want to actually kill you, but just like.
but is gonna try to beat you because it's friendly competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, like I really like that character, and I also really like just like the way that he's drawn. I think that his coat or whatever with the tiger on the back is really cool.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, the character designs, I'm a pretty big fan. Even the red noses, I can get behind that.
And the stars in the eyes.
The
Yeah,
star
the
eyes,
Jin
yeah.
Mori and new type eyes. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I think that I've always been like I used to be like this, so I used to say that like I mean, I guess you guys know. I used to like not watch shows because of their art style, and like it's been a few years since then, but like I look back on that and I think that's really stupid.
It's kind of cringe.
And
yeah.
so like if I saw Tower of God like 2 years ago maybe, I would have maybe said like I don't think I'm going to watch it because of the art style. Now that being said, I actually kind of like the art style of Tower of God. But then like now I literally that didn't influence anything at all, but I heard a lot of people talking about that, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I think that's a really shit argument. like
I mean,
there's
it's kind
so
of
many.
important.
Well, okay, yeah, like if you're looking at like pieces of shit walk around on stick figure legs, then yeah, it's gonna be bad. But like, if someone tells you a show is really really good, and then you pull it up, I'm speaking from experience here. This past trauma.
Okay.
You pull it up and you show them the cover art, and they're like, "What is this art style? It's so garbage, man. Why would you? I would never watch this." I'm like, "No, your art style is garbage, man. Kill yourself. What the hell?" I hate that.
So
And like I hate it even more because I used to do it too. So it makes it makes me feel cringe because I'm like thinking back to like my past self. I'm like, wow, like I can't believe I was like that. That's so gross.
that's like sort of what stopped me from watching Evangelion the first time. Like just like the
Like the
fact that
classic
it felt
90s
old
anime
to
style.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
like the
like just
old
like
90s
it's too
anime
old.
style and like the sound effects and like the whole thing just like I was just like I just can't watch this.
It's
But then
just
like a few years later I
that's
was
part of the
like, you know
vibe.
what? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just part of the vibe at this point. Like I don't actually care too much.
I was gonna say I'll agree that like you got to be like you can't be watching like Evangelion or I don't even know how you're supposed to say that word. I've always been switching
Evangelion?
between Evangelion and Evangelion, but yeah, sure, Evangelion. We'll go with that.
Sure.
I can agree that like you have to be feeling a certain type of way sometimes to watch a show that's like really either dated or like has a really very specific style like even like you said like there's a bunch of different like the sounds are different, everything is different, like anime has evolved a lot throughout the years. And
Mhm.
so like 100% like if you just made me watch like the newest episode of God of High School and then right after you're telling me to go watch like I don't know like
Inuyasha or something? Is that
yeah,
old? I think
Inuyasha or
that's
something,
old. I don't know.
I probably wouldn't be down. I don't know. I actually haven't even seen
Or
Inuyasha,
like
but my sister has.
the old
So
Berserk or something.
yeah, like yeah, something like that. Like obviously, like it matters. You know, it matters how you're feeling and stuff like that. Because like it's the same thing with anything. You just got to be feeling it.
Gotta
But
really be
like
feeling it.
So like
I don't think that
completely dismiss it out of pocket.
yeah, but to completely dismiss it and say that it's the shittiest show you've ever heard of in your life just because of the art style actually makes me mauled. I literally lose hairs over that.
Like people like
Oh my god.
like one of our friends who literally told us that sorry, I can't watch Made in Abyss. They literally look like Ed and Eddie. Like
Aw.
excuse me?
Oh my god.
You're talking like that? You're talking smart about the anime of 2016? Literally anime of you? Like shut up, bud. Shut up.
Made in Abyss was a masterpiece. Changed my mind.
That was a really
Yeah,
good
change
show.
my mind, bud. Change my mind.
Dude,
It was really
I remember
dark, but like it was
when
good.
when we saw that wait, Corbett, did you see that like around the same time as we did?
I remember just like watching it as like an all nighter with
Oh, okay,
Brooke
yeah.
and
So it
some
was
other
like later
people.
that year because I remember that
Yeah.
as well. So like basically so Brooke was telling me to watch it like at the start of one of our years in high school, and like I was like kind of depressed, not gonna lie. Like I don't know, I don't remember what I was going through, but I was just going through a tough time. I actually don't even remember what it was.
Just going through
And
it.
yeah, I was just going through it basically. And I also had physics. And it was like the first time that we were doing like, you know, like up till that point physics was always just like light and stuff like that, but like, we were actually doing like, you know, kinematics and actually like the hard, well, I don't want to say hard because it gets way harder, but the
Yeah.
actual like
The stuff that was
chunky
hard
stuff
at
for
the
the first
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember just struggling so much, and then Brooke is like, "Yo, watch Made in Abyss." And I was like, all right, I'll watch it. I started watching it, and I literally was addicted. I started listening to the to the soundtrack. 'Cause
Kevin
that thing is
Penkin's
so
God
good. Like,
OST.
yeah, props to Kevin Penkin. That
Literally.
guy's probably one of the best anime composers ever.
I
But
still
anyway,
listen to it. I still listen to it
Yeah,
to
I
this day.
was-
I saw you listening to it today on Spotify.
I literally
saw you.
was.
I would listen
Yeah.
to Hanazeve Karadina on like repeat.
That's
the
literally
other
my
day.
favorite song
It's-
from the entire
It's
thing.
such a good insert song. It's
Oh my
amazing.
god.
I just have the whole album is saved, and I just put it on whenever I need some chill vibes.
Yeah, like you can work to that, you can play to that, you can
do
sleep
anything
to that.
to
Honestly,
just-
there's
Yeah,
like they have everything in there. It's so good, and the show, sure. Like I remember making a comment actually to Brooke when he first recommended it, and I was like, that art style's kind of weird, but he was just like, just please don't be that guy.
Yeah, yeah. This is why you're still suffering from that. You're still suffering
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah, this is like pre-evolution
Yeah.
for me, and he's like, please just don't be that guy, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give it a try, and you know, like I said, it was literally like definitely a top 20 show for me.
Yeah.
Like very very good. We can maybe do, I don't know if we want to do a whole episode for Made in Abyss at some point, but I could definitely talk about that show for a whole episode.
Once
so.
the movie gets properly localized and it's out there on like some streaming sites that's not just like the
and, like,
cams,
everyone has seen it basically.
Yeah.
we can do an episode on that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm so down.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to move on to the next season, or do you guys want to talk about God of High School a bit more?
I think we've talked a lot about.
Yeah,
God
we
of
talked
High
a lot
School.
about God of High School.
All right, sure. So, how about Rent a Girlfriend?
All right, this is my moment, boys.
Yeah, this is yours.
This is time finally time for you to tell us why
Finally
or how
time.
you're a more degenerate weeb than I am. Like
So
I need
basically,
to ask you about that because like I'm actually confused.
the
But yeah, go
show
ahead.
the show is amazing. Like I don't even know how to describe how much of a masterpiece the show is, and I don't think I can without going into spoiler like beyond episode spoiler, like literally manga spoiler. Like I can't
Beyond
tell you
mangas.
how
Wait, how?
good it gets because
How
I
you,
am
you
up
just
to
like read
date on
up
the
to
manga.
yeah.
I'm literally reading every chapter that comes out. It's so high quality. I mean, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Main character is massive simp. I don't think it's much of a spoiler to tell you that he's just a massive
Wait, so
simp for like
so
the
Yeah.
entire thing.
the manga is not concluded, right?
No, it's still going. I don't know if there's a
Okay.
light novel. I looked for it. I don't think it exists.
So it's just a manga. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because so far, he's so cringe.
Yeah,
Oh
he is
my
so cringe.
It's
God.
I have
Okay, listen.
I have
the
a
main
hard time
character-
watching. Like sometimes, like you'll get to something and you're like, oh god, I know where this is going. This is so
Yeah.
cringe, and like you're literally clenching your entire body, and it's like, oh, you have to pause it, and it's like, oh, you have to take a deep breath and like calm your chakras because they're literally like giving you a heart attack.
But yeah, like the beach episode, I literally couldn't watch the
my
last like
God.
7 minutes of it because I had already read the manga and I knew what was gonna happen. I didn't want to physically cringe that hard because
Oh,
it
and
gets
when he's
so cringe.
and when he's stalking Mizuhara and like he like comes out and like exposes himself when she's like quote unquote about to kiss that guy, and I was like, oh,
and
I
but,
literally
like, she always
I had to-
always reacts like way too
Yeah.
She's really
leniently.
forgiving with him for
yeah,
some
like
reason.
I
Yeah.
literally had to close my laptop. I went up, I went for like a 5K run. I had lunch, I did some exercise, I took a shower, and then I was like, okay, now that I'm
can
fully
finish it now.
refreshed, I have the capacity, I have the ability to watch these.
That's
this
a true
moment.
story. You actually did that, didn't
No,
you?
I literally did that.
Like I remember you telling me that. Like that sounds like a cap, but like I'm pretty sure that's what actually happened.
No, that is exactly what happened. I couldn't watch it. It was so bad.
Dude, like for me, I have a reputation in our group for watching a lot of degenerate shows.
yeah,
Fair enough. Fair
like
enough.
like
yeah.
like maybe up till now I've been sounding like the least degenerate just because like I haven't been self-proclaimed to like most degenerate weeb or anything like that, but I might just be the one.
Oh,
I have had so many phases where I watch so many garbage shows, like isekai garbage.
yeah, I
like,
thought you were
I'll
just
get it-
isekai trash.
Mr.
No,
Mr.
no.
Oh, smartphone into another world was definitely anime this
Teleport to
season.
another
looking
world with my
ass.
smartphone and my 3D glasses. Yeah, let's go. That's my favorite show. No, I don't know. I just have these phases where I just watch so much garbage, and isekai was like one of the bigger ones, so I talk about that a lot. But like, definitely, I can talk about this a lot more when we do like an episode about our anime origin stories,
Mhm.
because I'm definitely going to be talking about like the whole timeline and how like
Oh yeah.
I'm basically just disgusting. But like, but when it comes to Rent Your Girlfriend, like, I was like pretty ready, right? I actually haven't had to like. I think I've paused the episodes a few times just for like a quick breather when it's been like a bit cringe, or if like if I like kind of need to go to the bathroom and I'm not sure if I'm gonna piss myself, if I just go anyway.
Okay.
but like,
I don't think
but like,
anyone asked, but alright.
Okay.
but like, definitely, I agree with Corbin on this one. Rent a Girlfriend is actually a really good show. Now, obviously, it's not like one of the best shows of all time. I'm going to like bring this one to my grave with me. Like, oh my god, like it's not like that. But like 100%, it's one of those like best cheap entertainment shows that you watch during the season.
Yeah, like it is cringe, but the drama is there. Like it's solid drama,
Oh,
even though
yeah.
it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
contrived. Even though it's contrived and it makes no sense, it's entertaining. Like
Well, I like to like think about kind of like how something like this, how these things would kind of like take, like how these events would actually happen in real life if they did, right? So like obviously there's so many stretches and things that would never happen in the first place, but like
Mhm.
if you just sort of like break that barrier, that reality barrier, and you're just sort of thinking about like how many of these things could I handle, or like if you saw someone doing this stuff, what would you do? First of all, we live in North America, so it's completely different. But then like the concept of rental girlfriends is actually a thing in Japan. That was the first thing that I had to realize.
Yeah.
mhm.
Like, oh,
And I didn't know that at all. Like people were talking about it. Like I'm pretty sure some of the big anime YouTubers did mention. I forget who it was. I think Giguk made a video about Rent a Girlfriend.
someone on my Discord tried to convince me that it doesn't exist at all, and that the entire plot was made by like American writers. And I'm like, listen, dude,
Oh.
you don't know how anime works.
The Chinese government.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, no, like I was I was shocked about that, and I watched a few videos about like apparently you can rent a family like in Japan. Like
Oh.
that's a service.
Yeah,
That's
you
kinda,
could there, if you
that's
could
kinda weird.
imagine it and it has like some sort of degeneracy involved in it, it probably
It's
exists.
actually yeah, and it's actually way more enjoyable that way. I find like I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, well, I can imagine at least like the college lifestyle, like loser university student.
Yeah,
like
but like honestly,
Oh,
just
like,
the fact
literally
that it's a
us, like-
university student makes it a lot better of a show for
yeah,
me
if
as
it
a
was a high
university
school student, I definitely wouldn't have enjoyed it as much.
Exactly.
Because like
I feel the
honestly,
exact same.
for the three of us, Kazuya-san or whatever his name is,
Yeah, it's Kazuya.
yeah, he's like pretty much a relatable character.
Yeah, like
He's
I'm
a
not
good
gonna
meme.
I'm not I'm not gonna stoop down to his level, but
Okay, yeah,
But,
no,
like-
we're not like that low,
Yeah.
right? But like,
100%, yeah, like kind of like just like the yeah.
He's like the funny, relatable type of character.
If you know, you know, guys. If you know, you know.
If you know,
let's move on. Let's move on.
Sometimes it'd be like,
No, but in all
whoa,
seriousness,
whoa.
no, yeah, no. In all seriousness, let's not move on.
Yeah.
Rent a Girlfriend. I really like Kazuya. I also really, really appreciate the fact that he wears like kind of like fresh outfits. Like
I mean, yeah,
like
some of the outfits do
Mizuhara
be
always
fresh.
makes fun of him. I think she made fun of him once or twice. Actually, I'm not sure about that. For like not like basically just like not trying too hard when it comes to outfits and stuff like that. But like I'm looking at like those short cut pants and like the stripes and
Man's
these
got-
like nice long sleeves. And I'm like, damn, bro, I
Man's
wear
got
like
the
jeans and
drip.
t-shirt every day. Holy,
Man
like-
drips, honestly.
yeah, like maybe he's more degenerate in some ways, but
like,
gosh, when it
okay,
comes to fashion, definitely not.
Here's the thing about his character that really frustrates me. Okay, like, so this guy is he's the archetype of the stereotypical like virgin weeb like loser kid, right?
Yeah.
But at this point in the story, he literally has like a signed permission to be dating like Nuka or whatever, like the blue girl, right?
Yeah,
And,
Ruka's
and
best
as
girl.
far
Oh,
as
God,
far as we have been explained, she's literally like an S tier waifu, and she's like throwing himself on him. What kind of
throwing
guy
herself on- yeah.
Mm.
with his like
mindset.
with his mindset and like his place in life would be like, sorry, but like I'm just not really into that. Like that's
It makes
impossible.
me so angry.
That's
Yeah,
impossible.
like if
Oh my god.
if he was always if he from the beginning he was always a very like lovey-dovey type guy who felt like feelings were very important, stuff like that, then it would make sense.
Like,
But
this is
he'd
the
be like, sorry, I
same
just don't
dude
feel that
who-
way about you.
This is the dude who rented a girlfriend though.
yeah,
Rented a girlfriend because he was feeling bummed out that he didn't get to smash the previous one.
Literally, oh my god.
That's literally the whole plot.
and like he could
and
save
then
this
himself.
guy's not
The
taking
entire the entire plot does not exist if he just decides, oh, I'm just gonna start dating Luca. I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna expose myself to my grandma that this is my new girlfriend. The show would end. He would live on happily ever after with his girl. and
Literally.
it would just be over. And like if I was in his position, that's definitely what I would do. So it's
Yeah,
just kind of like,
like,
I'm
I think-
watching. I was like, come on, dude, like come on. Like it was just like originally just like mommy or whatever her name was, like MAMI.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, we
everybody
hate
hates
that girl,
Yeah,
oh
we
my
hate
God.
that girl, right? But now it's like low key, like we hate Kazuya too, because like what's he doing? He's
Yeah,
clowning
He's
on
yeah.
us.
simping way too hard.
Yeah.
But like the
yeah,
the
100%.
fact that like it's got me this worked up means that it's worth watching because it's actually
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we're making it sound like it's bad and it's annoying, but it's like actually a good thing.
Well, yeah,
For the
it's
show,
for the
for the
yeah
show.
for the show. It's amazing, right? Like that's
Yeah.
you get so much plot out of the one fact that he's just simping too hard.
That he's just stupid. Like,
Yeah,
and he keeps digging himself into holes. And honestly, like, I'll be honest, like he's a really shallow person. Like,
hmm
because
Well,
on one hand,
uh,
well, what I mean though is that he puts too like he's all about putting emphasis on relationships, and that's why he's keeping up lies. But then he's also throwing other people under the bus for that same reason. So,
Oh,
for
yeah,
example,
definitely.
up until the most recent episode, he was like, I think there were 2 episodes with Ruka, and obviously it became clear in the last episode that he was actually thinking about his friend, that he basically just like ended his life,
yeah.
and
mhm.
and so it's not like he's a bad person because of that, but like I just feel like sometimes he just does things that don't really make sense. Now that being said, that might be kind of realistic in a sense. Like maybe not his actions per se, but like the way that people behave in sort of like these complicated situations, especially if you've like dug yourself into several holes time and time again and you're just stuck in a web of lies or something, you might just start to act really weird and make stupid decisions that someone who's like completely outside would be like, why are you doing this? What is wrong with you? So actually, in that sense, maybe it's good. But yeah, definitely his character is very, very interesting and kind of a cancer character, not gonna lie. Like, he kind of pisses me off, but again, like you said, it might be a good thing for the show.
Well, there's one
Mhm.
thing I kind of want to mention about like the whole why doesn't he just like swap to Ruka and just tells his grandma that like you know
Yeah,
it wasn't actually Chizuru.
a real, yeah.
One of the things that Chizuru's grandma is also wrapped up in this as well, and she doesn't want her to like
True,
go
true.
with it. And Chizuru's grandma, she's like getting really up there in age, like she's getting really old.
But I
And
mean,
so,
like,
Where she's
like
actually just gonna die.
they
Yeah, she's
decided really early on. They decided really early on that Chizuru and 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 Kazuya's like ideal scenario was mainly like Kazuya centric. It was like Kazuya breaks up with her and then he gets a girlfriend and things are happily ever after. Like they don't really talk about like what
they
how
don't talk about that a lot. Currently in the
Yeah.
anime.
I mean, in his defense, like right now, the main reason why he's feeling so unsure, I think, is because he caught feelings, right?
Yeah.
He caught
Like-
the feels. Yeah.
Like that's like pretty much the whole thing right now. Like, there's like one or two, maybe even three like parts of each episode where he's laying on his bed and he's like, "Oh my god, maybe she actually likes me."
like
Clown.
he's just beating his meat or something and all of a sudden she pops into his head and he's like, now I understand my feelings. Like
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, see now I have
now this is how
feelings for girl."
this is how men truly learn to understand their feelings, I guess.
Yeah,
Exactly.
apparently.
Apparently.
That's how they do it in Japan, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so like that's sort of like, I think that plus the whole reason that they started lying in the first place because the grandmas are probably the two reasons combined that they're still keeping this up. But like every single episode, he thinks about, I should really stop, and then Chizuru also tells him
She's like, yeah, we should,
really stop.
And they just like,
But it's kind of like,
wait."
but like honestly, like as obviously as the mature individual watching the show,
Yeah.
I obviously think that the right thing to do is obviously to stop, because that's the whole thing. But
Mhm.
like, I don't want it to stop though. Like,
if it's
Yeah,
not, then the show
I just wanna keep
stops, and,
watching.
like, yeah.
yeah, like I really, really do look forward to these episodes. They are really, really funny and entertaining, and I love to watch them. So like, as a viewer, as like the retard viewer, I definitely do want them to keep this lie up, or at the very least, if they do end up, cutting everything off right there and just, taking the L, and at least something else has to happen. That's just as intriguing.
I
But I
can't
don't
say
know.
anything.
That's gonna be hard.
I can't say anything.
Yeah,
God
yeah. Just
damn
don't
it.
say anything, man. Just don't say anything.
It's
Yeah, this
it's
guy's trying to
kind of
spoil
like
us, man.
it's kind of like watching a train wreck, but it's the most beautiful train wreck you've ever seen in your life, and you just want to keep watching it forever.
I think that might be how Giguk even described it. So
Oh really?
Okay.
I don't know. Like, let me try and find. You guys can keep talking about that. I'll try and find it on Giguk's channel here.
Okay.
I mean, like everything that can go wrong, like just for the drama, basically just goes wrong just because it
Here.
can, and the show says so.
I will say this though, the show definitely did make me reinstall Tinder, so
That's fair enough.
Okay, I was actually wrong. So he actually didn't make a video just about it, but it was in his summer 2020 impressions video that he always does for each season.
Mm-hmm.
And he was basically just talking about how it's literally like, think about like the last show that you watched that was just like a crazy train wreck, but then now like it's like 3 of them, and each one of them is one of the girls in the show, or
Basically,
like yeah, man, it's still a really good show. Definitely, even though okay, so in terms of like actual quality anime, like conventionally, God of High School is definitely better. But when it comes to my excitement to just watch an episode, God of High School is like, it's the start of the week. It's Monday. That's when it comes out. And you're kind of like, well, at least I have this really good thing to watch and hype me up for the rest of the week.
mm-hmm.
And, but then Friday, the week is over. You finished everything, work, school, whatever. And typically don't do as much on Fridays. And I'm like, finally, I can go, I can, before bed, before the weekend that I've been looking forward to all week, I can finally just watch some quality disasters.
yeah, I think the Friday time slot makes it
Yeah,
it stand out more.
100%. That's crazy. I've been thinking about that a lot, about how like
Everything
seasonal
that comes out
anime-
on Friday always tends to be
Yeah, like I remember back in September last year, Dr.
Yep.
Stone, right?
Yeah, that was the Friday feature, and then
Yeah, and you'd come back from like your courses and you were depressed.
yeah, you
and,
just basically just come back from the gulag, failed like your 2 physics quizzes or whatever else you had that day, and like you still have like so much, like literally like 20 hours of homework left to do over the weekend. Where it's like, okay, at least
yeah,
for this one moment, I can take the time just to enjoy Doctor Stone because it's Friday.
You watch
yeah, and it's kind of like the same thing now with Rent a Girlfriend.
like you would watch Doctor Stone. It would give you like enough knowledge to do all the homework you had.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh man, I have all this quantum physics homework and engineering papers to write.
Like,
And then it's like, watch the episode of Dr. Stone, he teaches you how to make a fire, and you're like, well, now I know.
like there you go. Yeah,
there's your education, boys.
there's
Yeah,
just
seriously.
science for the entire semester.
Oh man, I miss Dr. Stone. That was a really good show. When's the second season coming?
That's
I
like
think it's coming in winter.
Winter,
Is
yeah.
it January?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think so.
I think it is. I just remember 2021, but I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the last show then?
Well,
that
do
we
we have
picked
any
out?
closing remarks for Rent a Girlfriend? Anyone?
I,
'Cause-
I feel like it doesn't, like, the show could just keep doing what it's doing forever and I'll keep watching.
Yeah, it could be like a 50 episode show of just what's going
That-
on right now.
I
Basically.
That's
literally,
probably-
I will keep watching it. Even though I've read it
Yeah,
all, I'm
me
going
too.
to keep watching it again.
Oh yeah, I haven't read it, but I'm 100%, and I hope. You know what? I'll compare it to Quintessential Quintuplets.
Okay. I've never watched it.
don't know if you guys
but
have seen
no,
that.
I
not
have
at
seen
all.
that, yeah.
You have, Brooke?
I have, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think it's better than that, but like,
It's definitely
If
better
it-
than that.
but it kind of feels like that same cheap, but also quality. Like I know that's like really like opposite things to say, but like
It's just
it's
like
just
on
like-
it's further on like that side, on like the degenerate scale, but it's
yeah,
just
the degenerate scale. So
it's-
it's like really like cheap in terms of like degeneracy, and like that's like a really like cheap place to go
yeah,
get
like
entertainment from.
it's like your
but it's just so
McDonald's.
good.
It's just like your McDonald's.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect.
It-
Yeah.
you're-
From
it's,
like
it's
McDonald's,
not
super
it's not
cheap
fine dining or
and
anything.
probably bad for me, but well, not probably bad for me, very bad. For me.
Watching is just not good, but
but it's so damn good. Yeah. Okay, that's all I have to say about Rent a Girlfriend.
my only closing remark is that I love how the entire internet has collectively come together to hate on Mami-chan, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. 100%.
That's great.
Good.
That's good
I
stuff.
agree with that.
If Rent a Girlfriend is like your stereotypical McDonald's, then Uzaki-chan's basically like your Travis Scott burger.
Oh boy. Uzaki.
Because like that shit just like took the internet by storm. That's just like
So are we all watching that one?
holy.
I watched the entire thing in like a day, so it's kind of like a blur in my mind.
Okay.
I only started it yesterday. Actually,
Okay.
I started Rent a Girlfriend on Wednesday because I finally managed to overcome the cringe barrier to get past like the first episode. It's like the activation energy. It's like
Yeah.
I just overcome that to be able to finish it. And
Yeah,
I blitzed to episode whatever we're on now. And
I think
and
10.
then I was like, well, Uzaki-chan's like the same thing, right? And then so I turned that on. I got like 2 episodes in, and I was like, okay, this isn't what I was looking for. This isn't as good, but I'll probably keep watching.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, Uzaki-chan obviously was a very controversial show on the internet.
For stupid reasons,
Um,
yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the full extent. I think you know more about it, Corbett.
oh, I've been following it. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because you keep up with these things.
Mhm.
So what exactly? Why is everyone really mad? Like, I think I know a bit, but I don't know the whole thing.
So Twitter got really angry. This actually predates like the actual anime coming out.
Oh, okay.
So the Red Cross in Japan had an advert for blood donations, and they used
Oh, no.
Uzaki on the poster, and Twitter was upset because Uzaki has some massive hongers.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Twitter does what Twitter likes to do, and Twitter gets very angry at that type of thing, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, some people made some very good arguments, and that's like because you can't. I don't know. Am I allowed to talk about it? You can't really donate blood if you've, in the last 6 months done it with someone new. So
Sure.
they were sort of targeting like
Wait, is
lowly
that true?
degenerate weebs who definitely haven't done it.
Wait, is that actually a thing? I didn't know that about blood donation.
Apparently, that's one of the things.
Okay.
I'm no expert
Oh,
on blood
okay.
donation, obviously, but
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
that's,
what
just
I
how it
heard
works
was
in
one of the
Japan or
things.
something. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway.
so people
Yeah.
were angry
well,
about that.
That's one thing. So fair enough.
And then obviously when the anime came out, Twitter's opinion didn't change, right? They still hated Uzaki's character because of her design.
And now they get 20 minutes of Uzaki every week.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't have my eye on Uzaki for like obviously the show, not the character as much.
Okay,
God.
buddy.
Anyway,
Well,
I didn't have my eye on like trying to watch it because it wasn't on Crunchyroll, right? I wasn't like able to watch this easily, so I was just like, screw it. I'm
Yeah,
just
like, whatever.
yeah, it's not really. I'm just not gonna watch it then. But then Twitter caused such a storm that I'm like, I'm gonna find out what's up. What's up? I'm gonna find out what it's all about. So I started watching it. It's not bad to be honest. I mean, it's not great, but it's like
yeah, it's not great, but it's like your movie theater popcorn. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the
There you go.
line between like there's some parts that you get like a bit of degeneracy in there, but it's not like makes you cringe if someone would walk in type of degeneracy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know the part that I knew about the controversy on Twitter was basically like the continuation of what you just said, and the fact that like people were basically like people who don't watch much anime knew about Uzaki-chan and were basically like, what the hell is going on, man? They're like, this is not normal. This is weird. This is sexualizing children like cuties from Netflix. Stuff like
I don't
that.
even want to think. But that's
And that's not a topic we're gonna cover here, but like
I think
that is a fair that is a correct ideology, like 100%. Let's not be pedophiles, okay?
yeah,
but
100%.
She's also not a kid.
She's
and,
literally like
and,
21 or something. She's
and like
a
also
college
it's not one of those like sus cases where it's like a Beatrice from ReZero looking character that says they're 100 years old and then they're like the main love interest for a 25-year-old. It's not like that. It's like
this character is literally just like
the character design for Uzaki makes it clear that they're not a little child. At least if you watch anime, you would know.
yeah,
maybe
it's
just like yeah, there's a distinction. Like you can tell if you're watching the anime and if you've watched other anime, literally any other anime ever. But I'm just like wondering, where were all these people when literally, like I said, every other anime ever came out?
Yeah.
Why are they going after Uzaki, not like every
I don't get it.
single other thing
Like,
that's
it's like-
worse?
You can have a problem with the character designs of anime that over sexualize certain parts of especially female bodies, basically. But like, why just Uzaki? Like you're actually just
Like you gotta pick the
Stop, man.
battles, and that just isn't one of them. Honestly, we can
Yeah,
we
like,
can
I was
come together
watching-
on certain things, but that's not it.
and honestly, like, this is a controversial statement, but like, that's probably the point of the tits, is to be like, this character is not an underaged person. So
yeah, because then because there is obviously well, I guess Brooke, you don't know this because you just started, but there is a romance. Like,
Yeah, there is.
Like,
Yeah.
it is kind of
And, like-
romance in a way, and it would be definitely not legal and weird
like the
if
yeah,
it wasn't clear.
just like
Yeah.
the way she acts and like the way that like she like carries herself, like it's very clear it's like an adult person, and like I guess like there's the stance that people take on like, oh, that's not a natural female body, but like yeah,
Well,
A-
I'll actually just disagree with that. though, 'cause,
like where were you with like literally any other piece of media, right?
Yeah.
But also B, like there's definitely examples of people that like
right.
Yeah, that's what I was
co-
going
That's
to
what I
bring
was
up.
gonna say.
somewhere
Yeah.
similar to Uzaki-chan.
It's like I watched a video at some point, and it was talking about this for like a few minutes, and they basically mentioned that like, okay, let's just forget everything else for a sec, all the other like not like basically bad arguments, and just think about the fact that people who look like this exist.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And like, even though obviously it's not done for inclusion and diversity in anime, obviously we know why
Yeah.
it's done. It's literally just for
it's a little
sex
just
appeal.
like fan service kind of.
But yeah, basically. But like, if you're gonna argue that it's inappropriate, and whatever, you could also argue that it's diversity and inclusion. Like it's basically like, yeah, it's a whole mess. I don't like
There's
that.
a giant topic you can go down a giant
Yeah,
rabbit hole for
and
this
like
whole
honestly,
thing.
like I sounded like I felt very strongly about my opinion, but I honestly don't. Like, it's just like, I just think that when you're watching anime, since the genre is just like that, you can just boycott the whole thing, and that's your personal decision. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or or just like pick out shows that you feel like are okay, and that's also fine. But just please don't shit on other people, as long as they're not literally pedophiles, right? Like
Yeah.
obviously there's a line, and that line is very
It's
is
pretty
pretty
distinct.
clear. I
Yeah,
think.
it's
Yeah, I think
pretty
it's pretty clear.
obvious where the line is
But
drawn
like
there.
but like and just liking anime and you know and watching a show that sexualizes people, like you're not like, are you just not going to consume media period, because literally like all media ever, like Brooke said, just like sexualizes people. And it's like, I just think that you shouldn't I just think that it shouldn't be as big of a deal as it is, basically.
I get that.
Yeah, I don't know. In terms of the actual show itself,
Yeah,
like
the
outside of
actual
the whole
show itself,
controversy,
it's all right.
yeah,
It's just all right.
I
That's
think
all I
it's
have to
good.
say about
Yeah,
it. It's like it's just all right. Like
It's just like weird comedy. I don't know. Her entire character to the point. It's just about like teasing him, like the main dude.
yeah, and it's kind of like wholesome, right? Like
Yeah, in a way, it's
it's kind of like,
wholesome.
and also the fact, like same thing with Rent a Girlfriend, the fact that it's college,
Oh yeah,
I
that
think makes a difference
I
for
don't
me.
know what that is, but like with me, especially like I I just prefer to watch like university and college shows than like
Yeah.
a high school show. I don't know why, but like I just
Oh yeah,
relate
100%.
to the university characters a lot better now.
Yeah, like I think, well, when we were in high school, I kind of felt the same way, but I still enjoyed the few shows that featured university students as the main characters.
hmm.
But like now, obviously still enjoy shows that feature high school students, because that's literally like 99% of shows ever.
That's a lot of them,
But
yeah.
yeah, but like I definitely enjoy the ones specifically that feature university students, even if they're like older. Like I talked about Nodame Cantabile a while ago. I don't think any of you have seen it though.
No.
And like it's like these like music students, and they're older than us. Like
Yeah.
yeah, and they're pretty advanced in their stuff and whatever. They behave much more like adults than they do like us and like students and stuff, right?
I honestly I think we're at a good point, because I personally I don't feel like I can relate less to the high school students now that I'm not a high school student myself, because like as like a North American high school student, right? Like you have a completely different kind of high school experience than somebody from
Yeah,
Japan anyways. So it's not
yeah,
like you
Oh
could have
yeah.
related them on that level in the first place unless you've been there. Let's
It's
go.
like on an age
But like
level. Just flexes, but
but like now that I'm older than a high school student, I don't look back and think, "Oh, like now I'm not going to enjoy these shows, or I don't relate to them as much," because I've literally been through that experience. But now I can also relate to and enjoy these shows about university students on a new level. So,
well, it's not like I
yeah. Like
can't enjoy high school like shows. Like I can still enjoy them and watch them, but I just like I feel like I have more of an affinity towards watching shows with like college age characters, or even like some that are like above that. Because what was that from? Was it last season or the season before? But that romance Sing Yesterday, I think.
oh
oh, Sing
yeah,
Yesterday for
yeah.
me. Yeah, I like that one
That
as
one was
well a
really
lot
great for
because of
me.
the age group.
Yeah, I mean, even though what's her name was like she was like a high school student, but she dropped out or
Yeah, that's
something.
true.
But
Yeah.
that wasn't really a giant part of it, in my
Mhm.
opinion. But I don't know. I liked the main character a lot because he just vibing at his day job all the time.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna make like a special effort from now on to try and like find shows, because I had already like while like throughout the school, like last year, like I would purposely try to find anime that featured main characters that were in university for that extra like relatability factor,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like I would just enjoy it more. But then there really are not that many. Like there are a handful,
I mean,
but a
even
lot of them
even
are
just
really
like
old,
adult
and
characters.
and some of them don't look that good. I'm going to make a special effort to try those as well as adult characters, like you just said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially since like we all have work experience and stuff, and we kind of understand like the that kind of lifestyle, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Corbett's kind of work experience is a bit different, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
Like,
a little bit. Just a little bit on that one.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a
But
tad
yeah,
bit.
but 100%, like just to go back to the topic of Uzaki-chan, like I definitely really like the wholesomeness, the university aspect, and it's just like fun, kind of chill. It's just like memes basically. Like it's for the memes.
yeah,
I like that show. I look forward to it, and yeah, definitely not as big of a deal as people are making it online.
Yeah.
Any other things you guys have to say about Uzaki?
Well,
Not
I
really.
was just wondering, like, so there's like a kind of new character trope called like a tease and I'm just, there are a lot of
Oh, is
different
that
shows like that, and Uzaki I think falls into that category. So like,
probably yeah.
Oh, and she
what,
does that face too. Like,
yeah,
you know
like
what I'm talking?
like the smug laugh,
Yeah, the
like
smug
Yeah,
that.
and
laughing
then
face.
like the classic like blush but like not completely deny when you get into like a awkward kind of do you like me situation.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what are your opinions on like that sort of new type of character trope?
um I don't I don't really have anything against it per se. I do think that it's kind of like I feel like you can't have a character like that without the show just being kind of a joke, you know?
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but they can't be like the main, like Uzaki is. Like if there was another character and then Uzaki was just one of the characters and she was like that, then it's fine. But like definitely, if one of your mains is going to be literally some like what is it called, tease dere?
Yeah.
Yeah, then yeah, your show will not be some crazy serious like like it will just be a joke and start a controversy on Twitter.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I do think that adding more characters, like, because, like, character tropes, as funny as they can be, especially when they're made fun of, do get kind of boring. So I do enjoy the fact that we are seeing more and more kind of personality types come in, because I can't think, at least off the top of my head, I can't think of any examples of that type of character
I can
in
only
any
think
shows
of
that I've seen
one, and
recently.
I don't think it has an anime because I've just seen memes of the manga. I think it's called like
Oh, okay.
Nagatoro-san or something.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't actually
Yeah,
remember what it's called.
I'm not aware of that, but yeah, like it's kind of nice to see fresh characters and personalities and stuff like that. So definitely a fan of that show.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Is that it? Are we good
yeah, I think that's it
for
for
Uzaki?
Uzaki.
Yep.
And that's actually the last seasonal that we were planning to talk about, and we're at about almost an hour and 20 minutes recording, which is kind of the approximate length that we're kind of going for these episodes, guys.
Hmm.
So I think maybe this is where we cut it off.
Yeah, we just want to plug the socials just in case people forgot from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No.
so that's at Real Talk Anime on Instagram and at real_talk_anime on Twitter. Please stay tuned. If you're seeing this, you're one of the first. So we're
Yep.
gonna try and
And you're
we're gonna try and
special.
put out as much information as we can about the podcast plans that we have. I guess if there's actually people watching this or listening to this, feedback is great. That's really good.
Mhm.
And we'll take that very very seriously, especially since we're just starting.
Yep. So
But
basically,
yeah,
if you tell us to kill ourselves, you already know. Like,
yeah, it's gonna happen,
so,
and it'll be your fault.
Oh my
so,
God.
so tread carefully.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you guys want to say before we close it off here?
No, I'm good.
No. All
All
right.
right. Well, then, thank you everyone for tuning in to the very first episode of Real Talk Anime with me, Link. We got Corbett and Brooke, and we hope to see you guys next time.
All right.
See ya.
Sayonara, guys.